Okay, so my name is Stefan and I will be your trainer today. We are going to look at your first skill assessment, which is the two-way radio demonstration. Let me please introduce you to the marking sheet, marking scheme. So as you can see on the screen, this is going to be an instructor-led assessment. I'm going to ask you a set of questions and then you're going to respond to each and every question. So for introduction of yourself and equipment, you have 20 marks. Then we're going to look at the parts and functions of the device itself. For that, you are going to get 15 marks. I'm going to ask you to introduce us to the 3 standard checks and how do you perform them. 40 marks you obtain for having a clear speech and body language. Then 5 marks each for call signs, pro words, and radio check. And at the end, it's the summary and knowledge check, 5 marks. This assessment bears a 20% overall grade from your 100% mark. Is there any questions you'd like to ask before we start?
No, go ahead.
No? Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask you is, can you please introduce yourself to the camera and tell me what are you going to demonstrate today?
My name is Tony O'Brien. I'm doing a security guarding course with ICSE, and today I'm going to demonstrate how we use two-way radios in the security industry.
Perfect. Can you please give me some more information about the equipment, such as where and why would you be using it?
Yeah, we use two-way radios in the security industry because they are a cheaper alternative to mobile phones. It's a more effective way of getting a message out clearly to a number of people. It's quicker and they are more durable devices than mobile phones.
Perfect. We are now going to move to question 3, which is going to be the introduction of and parts and functions of the mobile device. So as you can see on the screen, we have the device displayed. I'm going to scroll through various parts, and you're going to see arrows pointing at that specific device. And I'm going to ask you to name that part for me and explain a little bit about the function. Okay. So, what does that button do?
That's the power button, and it also controls the volume for the radio.
Perfect. What does that button do?
That's the channel selector, and that's for selecting the correct channel for the network group that you're talking in.
Thank you. What does that do?
That is the aerial or the antenna for sending and receiving a signal.
Perfect. On the front of the radio, what do you have?
You have the speaker and the microphone for sending and receiving messages.
Thank you. On the side,
you have the earpiece port for connecting up your earpiece for the radio.
Yes.
5 and 6, that's the speaker and microphone there again. I think number 9 there was supposed to point at the push to talk button.
At the push to talk button. Yeah, okay, no problem. At the back of the radio?
Battery for charging up the radio.
Okay, how many hours would the battery last?
8-hour battery. 8-hour battery.
Okay, thank you. And the last one is?
And the belt clip for carrying the radio.
The belt clip. Okay, thank you. That was pretty much all the parts of the radio. Now, can you please explain to us at the start of your shift, you have to perform the 3 standard checks. What are those checks and how do you perform them?
So you would go into wherever your radios are charging, and you would look for a radio that has a green LED to show it's charged. Pick it up, turn on the power to make sure that you have an affirmative power signal. Make sure you're on the correct channel for where you're working that day, and make sure that your radio is receiving a signal by doing a radio check.
By doing a radio check, perfect. Now, what do you know about call signs? What are call signs? Why do we use them? And can you please give me some examples?
So call sign is basically your name on the radio. It's how you identify yourself to other people on the radio network. You use it at the beginning of every message to identify yourself. It might be just your name, or it might be based on your location, or in some places it might be part of the phonetic alphabet where you would have a code word to identify yourself.
Excellent. Now, pro words. What do you know about pro words? And again, can you please tell me why do we use them, the meaning of them, and give us some examples?
So pro words it's short for procedural words, which is basically language we use on the radio to shorten down the conversation that we're having.
Yes.
Examples might be the words over at the end of a sentence, which just means I'm finished and I'm waiting for your reply.
Yeah.
Which means that the conversation is finished. Roger or copy, which means that I received and understood your last transmission. Repeat, meaning that I didn't clearly receive it, and would you repeat your last transmission? Standby means I got your message and you could wait for my reply. And go ahead, meaning I am now in a position to receive your message.
Perfect. You've mentioned when we talked about the 3 standard checks about doing a radio check. Would you be comfortable doing a radio check with me now?
Yeah.
Okay, you can choose whatever call sign you feel it's comfortable for you.
Okay, I'll be Alpha 1.
Okay, I'm going to play the control room for you.
Okay. So I would hold my radio, press the push to talk button, and I would say Alpha 1 to control, radio check, over.
Control to Alpha 1, I hear you loud and clear, over.
Alpha 1 to control, Roger, out.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Now, the last question I'm going to ask you is, can you please tell us a few things about what we need to remember when we talk on the two-way radio, about the radio etiquette communication, please?
Sure. It's important that you speak slowly and clearly in your own tone of voice and even tone of voice, not shout too loudly. Hold the radio 4 to 6 inches from your face so it picks up correct voice signal. Don't use bad language and keep your conversation short and to the point on the radio.
Thank you so very much. This concludes your assessment today. Excellent. Thank you.
Stop recording.